Hello everybody and welcome back to the Chateau on what is another bit of a grey day, and I'm still a little bit unwell. However, life doesn't stop because you have the flu, and certainly not life in a chateau. And coming to the end of the year when we've got to get everything done, try to get as far as you can so you start the new year on the best possible footing. So, before I do some stuff here, I've got to get down to the workshop because the parts have arrived for Billy's wood chipper, so I can get that back together, get that gone out of my way, but more importantly, get that up to Sadie and Stan at Panhard so they can start clearing. Back in here, Billy's wood chipper needs to get fixed. So for those that you don't know, massive problem with this. And I want to get this done as quickly as possible, not only to get it out of the way, but I've got an appointment where I get to go and see, progress further, and show you my potential new project. So this is important to get done, not only because I want to get out of here, but obviously I want this out of here. So for those of you who don't know, head gasket problem.
And there is the old, hideous, and nasty head gasket, separating, blown all over the shop. And, yeah. Not weird? That'll do. Shiny new! Shiny new! That's what that's actually supposed to look like. So, time to get everything cleaned up. Fit the head back on everything, and yeah, get this done. In the meantime, I'm going to slide you back in there, and obviously I've got all sorts of other gaskets. We've been waiting for this, so anything that's been taken apart that's got a gasket gets a new one. Once the major bits are back on, it's going to be quite easy to bolt back on radiator, little bits of pipe work, alternator, fans, all those sort of things. It'll go back together quite quickly. Charge the battery, connect the battery back up, and this can go off and do its job up at Panhard. Hopefully, this is not a sign of what the rest of the day is to come, because I'm looking forward to going and seeing the potential new project, being happy, excited about it. So maybe this is getting the bad things out of the way. And this is not fixable right now. I'd say disaster has struck, but you know, everything is fixable, however, it's just about now. So all the time in case everything's back on, this is all back together, all the pump bits right. Here we go, that's all good. Now, you might be able to see how bad this was. This is the top of the engine block, and deliberately not really cleaning this up too much, as you expose any bare metal while it's sat here waiting for the parts, it will surface rust, etc. There are bits that do need clearing up, and you can see where the gasket's gone. The head was exactly the same. So the head, I mean, you can tell this thing's lived outside quite a bit. The exhaust, there we go. We took the head off as one, trying to keep the job as low as possible. And that's fine. And it was looking underneath just as bad as that block. It was only when we started clearing it up, we found disaster. Hidden under carbon and all the other issues. A bit of cleaning up, ready for the gasket. We found the problem. Can any eagle-eyed viewer see the problem? That is a crack in the head. Right there, you can feel it, you can see it. That is a crack in the head, right through from one of the valves, all the way to the edge of that piston. And that is, well, that just means this head is toast, it's dead, it cannot go back together. So that means the most likely thing. Billy did buy this cheaper by a considerable amount than others that have done similar hours. It's never really been used much. It's only been used for short bursts. The likelihood is that this, unfortunately, probably got very, very, very hot under previous use. They did a compression test and found that there was extremely low compression on that cylinder.
which would really open up after it started getting warm, and sold it so they didn't have to do this job. And for the very short burst it's been used, it's been okay, it hasn't got too hot. Of course, it needs solving, so it's new head time, or second-hand head, which is very, very tedious, but that is life. It will get solved. Now, I'm hoping it is not a bad omen for the day, because I do want to go up and show you all my potential new project. Okay, everybody, I have gone up and looked at my potential new project, and I wanted to show you around, but apparently I can't show you the outside of it at the moment. It'll be too recognisable, and there is somebody else sniffing around. So in a bit of a situation where I need to try to make a decision rather quickly, unfortunately, which I hadn't wanted to, because I never want to make a decision, especially based on how different it is to here, on how in a time when I'm not feeling particularly well, a bit run down, and it's winter. It's never a great time to make decisions, especially in haste. But I have got some photos internally, and I can show you those because it's very, very different from here. And to be honest, why not ask you all out there what you think? I will describe the outside, however, because when I say it's totally different to the chateau, it is totally different. It is a municipal building. Imagine a block of flats in Chernobyl. It's very, very plain. It's just a municipal building, really. That's 2 floors. It's very big. It's bigger than the chateau. 2,100 square meters internally. Less land, which would be easy to maintain. The building is 60s built, so it's block, and quite importantly, apart from having double glazing and shutters and all the rest of it for security, it has concrete floors on both floors. It's on mains drainage, so there's no septic tank to worry about, and all of the rooms have proper drainage, so bathrooms would be easy to be put in. It needs completely refurbishing because it was not even a house. It was a block of offices. So it's quite interesting from the point of view that it's completely different. Insulation can go on the walls. Things can be done from scratch. And for anyone that doesn't really understand why I'd be thinking about having a different project, this was my marital home. This was my wedding venue. There are things here which, while I'm quite happy living here and doing the projects, there are things which would be very different if I had something else. I'm not saying this place would go. At the moment, I have an inkling, a need for something which is completely mine and completely different. And I'm looking at modern stuff as well. So it would be a very different feel to the chateau. It would be something that I could do whatever I wanted to, because you're not trying to save any architectural features, which is something I've mentioned quite a few times. The ability to let your mind run wild and put in character rather than trying to get around what has been done to save the character are very, very different things. But what do you, watching, think? Is it something that you'd like to see for a start? Because that will really say whether it's something that I would like to do. At the moment, I would quite like to do it, but I also am having a moment. I'm having an early midlife crisis. So my desire to have clean, crisp, easy, warm, comfortable, all of these things are just part of what's going on, maybe. Who knows? But the styles are completely different of not only the building, but then what will go internally. What do you think? Or am I just having a little moment? Not that I'm stopping anything on this place in the meantime, but should I just say, hey, you know what, it was a nice idea, but nah, it's not for you. What do you think? Would you still follow it? Do you think it's interesting? Because in my head, I'm leaning towards it, I've got to be honest, and unfortunately I do need to make a decision quite quickly. So I will be looking for comments, and I will be looking for your suggestions, your answers. Please be brutally honest, because I'd love to hear your actual genuine response. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Bye now.